Two, this is a special edition live. I'm here with our maintenance man, and we're getting ready to go over some of the modifications that were made to our dryer to make it much more breathable and clear in here. By the way, his name is Matt, and it's almost like an interview style, but pay attention to everything that he's saying and the questions that I'm asking for those that really want to hop into direct-to-film printing. Before I show you, I'm going to show a little bit of everything. We had issues with this, still having issues with this, and as you can see, he got us back up and running. All right, some of the parts are off, but we will be putting them back on. I digress, we'll get back to that another time. But as you guys see, the most vibrant of crispy prints that there is there on the market. So make sure you guys take time to head on over to crispyprints.shop and grab some of these super vibrant, super soft direct to film. We do this stuff for y'all. If you have any questions when you do hop on, please ask and we'll try to get them answered. If not, I'll just stick to the actual topic. All right, Matt, whenever you're ready. So can you give us a brief introduction real quick, Matt?
My name's Matt. I've known Mike probably
2 years now?
at least 2 years.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's
Met
been a
through a
while.
mutual friend.
Yeah.
My
So
full-time job is I work for the railroad.
I was getting ready to ask and you answered that.
So-
Thank you.
So
You-
I work for the railroad. I'm a locomotive engineer.
Yeah?
I work for Amtrak.
Do you like that?
I love that.
All right.
On my downtime, I help Mike out here.
So how did you actually get into maintenance and actually being able to build computers and things like that, if you don't mind me
It's
asking?
always been a hobby.
Always been a hobby.
Yep.
Well, I gotta let you know, man, you're very professional at it. We appreciate all the services that you do. Without you, I don't know how we would have been afloat this
Thank you.
long. So thank
Thank
you,
you.
thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just gonna go around and ask some generalized questions. So the dryer as it is without any modifications, would you recommend that?
Without modifications?
Yes.
No.
No?
All right.
Okay.
The machine itself, once you modify it, is
Uh-huh.
fine.
Gotcha.
But there are some design shortfalls, in my opinion, that required some engineering to get around the problems
Gotcha.
that I just don't feel you should have to do for the amount of money that's being spent on the machine.
Yes.
I don't think it's a bad machine.
Yeah.
I just think that there are things they could do at the factory that would solve a lot of problems that we've had to deal with.
Yes. One of those problems that kept arising was the escaping of the actual glycol or the after product of the glycol. First of all, can you tell us a little bit about glycol?
All right, so glycol is an alcohol.
Uh-huh.
In this case, there are multiple different kinds of glycol. It's ethylene glycol that we're dealing with,
Right.
and it's found in the powder that's for the glue that gets put onto the prints.
Okay.
When it's heated, the glycol comes out of the glue. You have
Gotcha.
to send it somewhere.
Yep.
A lot of places either use fume extractors
Uh-huh.
or they just vent it outside.
Gotcha.
Here, we vent it outside. The dryer itself has a system to both collect and exhaust the glycol, but it's based at the bottom of the machine.
Yes.
And the problem is glycol is very hot. It's in a gas form. What happens when you go down? It cools off, it condenses, and it collects in a drip pan. But the problem is the drip pan is in such a way that it never empties.
Right. So before you go further, let me show them exactly what you're speaking on. He's talking about the inner workings inside of here, y'all. And I'm sorry, we are trying to be as loud as we can to get this information out. Okay.
So that left us with a problem where we were outgassing out of the hood here
Okay.
quite significant, so much so that the air quality in the building would be questionable.
Yes.
So the first thing we did was we set up a system in order to pump the exhaust from the onboard exhauster out of the building.
Right.
But then, most machines will have a vent on the top of the hood.
Yep.
This one doesn't. That would be one of the things I change.
Okay.
Would be to put something up here to help vent the fumes out of here. a lot of glycol builds up in this. It builds up in this part of the machine.
Uh-huh.
It has nowhere to go.
Wow.
As for the fume side of it, this is just a regular oven vent hood. And we have rigged it up in such a way where it will pull the air out of the machine and exhaust it out. Now, we have quite a ways to go to get outside, so just running it in the tube wasn't enough.
Right.
We actually had to put an inline booster fan in line with the tube to help force the air out. And there's some special concerns with what kind of fan you use. You can't just use a regular dryer fan because that fan's always going to be in the glycol flow.
Gotcha.
So the fan has to be moisture rated.
So upon actually putting these PVC pipes in, what else would you recommend us doing? I know this is kind of like a test trial to see how everything is going, but for a more permanent solution, what would you suggest?
The duster on this machine.
Okay. For the duster, this is like a slower crowd.
Okay, so the machine that puts the powder on, the system that puts the powder on, this machine is supposed to have an automated setup.
Yes.
And it uses a set of screws to move the extra powder around the machine so you're not constantly wasting powder.
Correct.
Unfortunately, all those augers on our machine wore out from the abrasive nature of the powder.
Wow.
Every once in a while you hear this machine make an awful racket. That's the bottommost auger trying to do its job. We have replaced the bearings in it multiple times.
The bottom part of this, which is exactly like this, is what he's talking about.
And one of the things that we run into is the bearings will just go bad again, and the machine and the auger starts scraping against the sides of the machine.
Yes.
I see where they were going. It was good practice, but they need to do something a little bit better that protects the bearing from the powder.
Right.
And they tried using sealed bearings, and that didn't work either. I personally would have probably come up with some sort of vacuum system to try to do it. But I don't know how. Eventually, I'm going to try something like that on this.
Gotcha.
But I just haven't come up with the way I'm going to do it yet.
So it's safe to say that everything that you've added to this is just based off of your experience,
correct,
your background in nature, and then breathability, man. You've been in here bumping out hours just like us. So
right, and the ethylene glycol is not something you want to be breathing in. And long-term exposure can cause a lot of problems, a lot of health problems. That's why they recommend either venting it or putting a fume extractor.
Gotcha.
I personally prefer the venting method. Get the contaminated air out of the building. The fume extractors, you're still making waste. You got filters have to be replaced all the time.
Yeah.
And when they plug up, the system doesn't work.
Wow. Now, I remember once upon a time, I'm going to let you check this real quick.
Yeah.
Because I have took up a good 8 minutes of your time. And we did explain this. This is working, but this is a process right here because it's not put together fully.
I don't have a problem with this machine. I would go out and buy one of these.
Wow.
All right, I don't have a problem with
That's
this
highly speaking. You guys always hear me say I never recommend anything.
My concern with this was our issue with this was wear and tear.
Yeah.
And there's a process to dialing it back in once repairs have been made. And that's where we are with this machine, is just dialing it back in.
Gotcha. I'm making some adjustments real quick, then I'm going to get back to this interview real quick. It is almost over. I was looking for questions, but we'll wait till the next one. I know I did come on rather late. Hopefully everybody's had a blessed, productive day. Just 2 more things I want to ask you about, and then I'll let you go. I remember about 3, it might be more, 3 times you've had to replace a switch to turn this machine on, and then ultimately you
turned out to
swapped
be
it out.
operator error.
Operator error. All right, take that to note.
Breakers, that breaker down there, they're designed to protect you from an overload, but they're not designed to be turned on and off when you've got a full load on the machine.
Gotcha.
So when everything's running, it's drawing a ton of electricity.
All right.
That breaker is not designed for repeated use of cutting that load.
Gotcha.
It'll eventually burn itself up. And we were having a problem where everybody would be running all the devices on the machine, drawing about 30 amps, and then turn it all off from the breaker and end up burning up the breaker.
Yep.
The proper way, shut everything off, then flip the breaker off. Make sure the load's gone, then turn it off.
Absolutely.
The heater alone is a huge power draw on this. The heater is about 5,600 watts.
Sheesh.
And that's a lot of electricity being drawn through there.
Wow. Well, aside from that, Matt also was the one that was helping operate this machine when we couldn't get no help whatsoever. I'm not going to go into it, but just for a scale of things, when we weren't able to find the problem, when we would reach out to you, what did you have to do to find out what was wrong with any of these machines?
A lot of Mandarin.
Break it down a little bit more.
Everything in here, you've got Epson, who makes the print heads. Epson makes the printer controllers, but the rest of the machine is Chinese made.
Wow.
I'm multilingual. I can read to a certain extent some Mandarin, which is Chinese, and a little bit to some extent some Japanese. That's helped me get through this. Now, Epson has been really helpful. Okay. It's the Chinese part of the machine where every one of these machines is a little bit custom built, a little bit different than the next one.
Right.
And it's just a matter of going online, finding the right people to ask the right questions to, and making sure you're asking them in the right way.
Right.
I've had to deal with that before with milling machines. I do a lot of industrial repair on the side.
Okay.
And with a lot of those machines are German. I speak very fluent German.
Yeah.
So I had to be able to communicate with the people back in Germany how to fix those machines. And it's no different with these. I got to be able to communicate with the guys back in China. What did you do on this? Why did you do it this way?
Right.
How do we fix it?
Wow. Last but not least, this isn't a deterrent. Anybody that's looking to get into DTF, I urge you to go ahead and try it. But I'm going to ask you, for the guy that's actually fixing my machines, what are some words of advice that you would give to someone that's looking to get into direct-to-film?
Be mechanically inclined. Don't be afraid to tear something apart, repair it. And if you don't know, the internet's a wonderful place. I've gotten support on Reddit. I've gotten support on various forums around, even some groups IO.
Yep.
There's not a lot of these out there.
Yeah.
But there are some people who have used these machines before, or maybe you're going to find a machine that's just similar enough to the one you've got, where, okay, this is what this guy had to do. This is probably going to apply this way on my machine. Wow. I find the community to be generally helpful, and the more common it gets over here, the less I've had to rely on getting support overseas. Not that I have a problem with it, but it's a whole lot easier when you're talking to somebody with your native language.
So with that being said, I know that was supposed to be the last question. Knowing all that you do know, knowing the prices, and still having to reach out overseas, does it make sense for you to purchase then overseas for a cheaper price, or to just stick with the United States?
The company we've most recently dealt with, okay, has been Johnny on the Spot. I can get on this phone and call him. Okay. And any time of day, and he'll answer, and he'll support us through. He's very knowledgeable about the machines. I have nothing bad to say about them. Gotcha. The companies that we've dealt with before this, it was literally like, okay, we've licensed this design from China, we're importing it, but we know nothing about it. The company we're dealing with now, they know the machine inside and out. That's been a huge help in my life.
Thank you.
It's been a huge help with us getting these machines running, especially this one. Yes. This one had a very precise adjustment that had to be done on the laminator. Yes. And for weeks we were having problems getting it to work right. And due to multiple phone calls, and the guy even did a video chat with us, he walked us through the proper setup to get it properly calibrated.
Well, man, That was the best 15 minutes of DTF talking I've had and I have heard in a long time. I greatly appreciate you for your honesty. This is Matt, guys. When he's available for others, I will definitely link him if that's cool with you, and get, you know, for we just got to set some things in motion for you guys to actually talk to him. He's brought us back literally from zero to backup and printing and taking care of business. This was not your traditional live, nor did I intend it to be. I wanted to get questions answered. Hopefully I answered some questions out there for everybody. If you do have any more questions and you are catching this live on replay, drop a comment. I will definitely get it answered. You guys have a blessed, productive night, and I always appreciate y'all. I will catch you on the next one. Don't forget to shop with me. KRISPYPRINTZ.shop. Follow me on all social medias, Krispy Prince and Mike T's as well. With that being said, that's great. Peace. That was great.